Hi, Misha here, and this is kind of the before video of my next parts kit build, essentially submachine gun to legal semi-auto project. This one just kind of fell into my lap. This is a Yugoslavian Zastava M56 submachine gun kit. This fires 7.62 by 25, 7.62 Tokarev. It is often called a copy of an MP.40, but it's really not. It takes inspiration from the MP.40 for sure, but it has more differences than similarities, I would say. That's kind of how Zastava rolls. They loosely copy designs. They don't go full out. For example, even their AKs and their SKSs have some pretty major differences from the original Russian. This was first made in 1956, and it replaced the Yugoslavian Army's M49 submachine gun, which was Zastava's clone of the Russian PPSH-41. In Yugoslavia, Zastava had pretty close ties with Germany. For example, they produced several Mausers. So it's not unsurprising that they would kind of look at the MP.40 for inspiration. Well, this kit came in last week, and their kits aren't terribly uncommon. They're out there, but you don't see a lot of semi-auto conversions. So I thought we would just kind of look at the features of the kit, and then do another video later after it's done. So what do we have on this end? This does have the original barrel, which is about 9.8 inches, so a little under 10 inches long. It does have a hooded front sight like an MP.40, but it does not have a threaded muzzle. It's just bare. On the other hand, one of the neat features is it has a little bayonet lug, little tiny bayonet lug. Has a very simple front sling swivel here, just a cutout, stamped cutout. That is paired with the rear swivel back here. Not really swivel, I guess sling bar would be right. Yeah, moving back to the front. It feeds from double stack, double feed magazines, 32 rounds. I've kind of got this setting in. Let me just pull it out here. The mag catch is back here. Kind of hard to get out one-handed, apologies. See if I can do it here. There we go. See that? It's kind of a hybrid mag between a PPSH-41, which is a single feed, and a PPS-43, which is a double, but it has kind of the top more like a 41. You see it's got a pretty standard mag well. Interestingly, it kind of ejects straight up. There's your extractor. As you can see, this is the front stub or section. The trunnion is intact and the mag well is complete, meaning it'll be a pretty easy build. The lower is pretty simple inside. It is kind of a metal frame with the plastic, and this isn't really Bakelite. This really is kind of a plastic. It's more flexible. And it even has a wood block inside for strength. It is select fire. The push button selector here for safe or for semi or full auto. That is not your safety though. It does not disassemble like a MP.40. It doesn't have the button on the bottom. There, sure. Grip. The stock is probably the most MP.40 like feature. Flip this over. Has the push button in the side. Folds up. The butt plate also folds. Maybe, if you have two hands. Sorry guys. There we go. I actually expected the stock to be the hard one to fold, but the butt plate was. And then it just folds up under here. Notice it does not interfere with the mag well. Which brings us to the point, this is a really long receiver. The gun is about 34 inches with the stock out and about 24 inches with it folded up, and considering it's less than a 10-inch barrel, yeah. Now, in the submachine gun, this made it kind of long and spindly, but when we go to do a semi-auto, it actually means we have a lot of room to work with for a striker system. And this will be built as a pistol. Just pin the stock folded, kind of like those IO, PAC, PPS 43s. That way we can keep our barrel at the proper length, because this thing would just look completely ridiculous with a 16-inch barrel. If we had to add 6 inches, that means the overall length would be 40 inches. That's longer than some bolt-action carbines. So, pass. The only other bits, here's our rear sight. It just sits on top of the tube. It's a 2-position flip. This is our recoil spring. It's got a solid piece on the end. And this cap, this goes back here. This is our takedown disassembly button when it's together. It rotates. So the spring is self-contained. If you know the MP.40 though, you know it has that really cool telescoping spring, and this is nothing like it. And our bolt is really not much like it either. It's a very big, massive bolt, fixed firing pin. It is hollow inside for the spring. The cocking handle here acts as our safety when it's in the down position. That is safe. There's little spots in the receiver for that to go into. Also, you see the spring-loaded tab. That can lock the bolt forward on this little stud here. And so yeah, pretty straightforward submachine gun conversion. Again, the long receiver gives us a lot of wiggle room. Basically what you do is you'll take the full auto bolt, you'll cut the back section off, turning that into a striker, so when you pull the trigger, that lets the striker go forward. Of course, you block the full auto completely, and it'll have to be a closed bolt, so you'll need to drill a channel for a firing pin, stick out in the back, and the striker will come forward and hit it, and boom, there you go. And it'll still feed from the original mags. These kits are out there, although I wouldn't say they're straight up common. The mags are out there, but again, I wouldn't say they're just very common, but they're available, as are slings and mag pouches. Not a lot of service history to talk about. This was in Yugoslavian service for about 3 decades. Some of these were used in Vietnam, sent over there. And a 9mm version for export was made by Zastava is the M56. But it's a very simple submachine gun, not a whole lot going on, not really anything unique or special about it, aside from being very economical to produce. So yeah, we'll do another video in a few months when this is built up and tested. It does take a little time to do this because there's some, of course, welding to make the new rear tube section and cutting the bolt and modifying it for semi. But it's always interesting to take just a cut-up gun, a parts kit, and at least turn it back into something that can fire, even if only one shot at a time. It's enjoyable at any rate. You can have some really unique things that no one else does. So anyway, if you've had any weird or unique builds yourself, or interested in any, let's chat about them in the comments below. Because, yeah, there's been a lot of neat kits. And if you haven't, I did a video recently on kind of my favorite submachine gun conversions like this, showing complete working carbines, pistols. Over the years, I've kind of accumulated a number of them, and yeah, it's a bit of a hobby of mine. I don't have any from Yugoslavia, so this should fit in nicely with my M70 AK and M59 66 SKS. If you could, like, share, and subscribe, and also please check out the link to our Patreon page. This is Misha, and I'll catch you very soon next time.